Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again on a Monday. It is Fiesta Week, and my Fiesta clothes are at the dry cleaners, I think, right now. So I've decided to go with a little more professional look here. We welcome you into Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm and Integrity Roofing and Siding. We are, again, broadcasting in the all-electric Lexus RZ 450e, courtesy of North Park Lexus of San Antonio and North Park Lexus at Dominion. And this is Robby Brown. He is the president of South Texas here at DOCUmation. We happen to be, if you look real carefully, one of the walls of your facility, your massive facility, is right behind us.
That's right. How's it going?
It's really good. I'm glad you're here. You're somebody that I have followed, particularly on LinkedIn in recent months, and just kind of seen. And you see somebody and you're like, wow, that guy looks really impressive. And then you do a little more digging and you realize, yeah, he is impressive. And this is a classic example. We're in Chavano Park of a building I've driven by untold numbers of times. And forgive me, I just wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize that you're here. It's a massive building. And as the name would suggest, DOCUmation.
Right.
The docu is like documents. So my mind goes to copy machines and stuff related to documents. So tell us, to the untrained person, what is DOCUmation?
Sure. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to get to be with you again. The thing is, too, is we're outside DOCUmation, which is neat. I love that we get to be in this gorgeous Lexus vehicle.
Well,
this is fun, so this is a cool setup. DOCUmation, to the untrained eye, though, a lot of people drive by our offices here off of Lock Hill Sama and don't know quite what we do, but we're in IT, print, software, voice, and we also do conference solutions and really anything around office technology.
I would venture a lot of money on this, that people have seen your products or used your products or experienced your products or your creations in some way, shape, or form, but had no idea that they came, in most cases, out of this building.
Right.
So what are some examples here in San Antonio of things that you guys have done that most people have probably seen?
Well, I would say a lot of the brands that we are fortunate to work with are familiar names in this community. San Antonio Spurs is arguably one of the most prestigious brands in this market. They just finished their game yesterday. It was a season that I know they're excited to continue to capitalize on. But that's a huge name. Whataburger.
Another Titan.
Right. San Antonio Area Foundation, the Woody, and a lot of these brands, we do a variety of different things, like I mentioned before, from different solutions.
Right.
And so we end up kind of being a little bit of one of those behind-the-scenes types of businesses. It's a necessity. It sometimes is not necessarily the more appeal side of what you do from a day-to-day perspective for your business, but it is absolutely needed. We actually have a lot of cities and counties and different clients that we support as well. So infrastructurally, there's things that keep the pulse of a whole city or county going, which directly affects residents all across the state of Texas. And so for us, we're here in San Antonio as our headquarters, but we're proud to be Texans and all across Texas supporting Texans and how they operate their businesses.
Well, full disclosure, you'll immediately walk into their building here and you'll see a couple things. You'll see the largest printer or copy machine I've ever seen in my life, which is like twice the size of this car.
It's like a spaceship.
Seriously. And secondly, you'll see Spurs jersey, but you'll also see the Houston Rockets and the Dallas Mavericks. And all rivalries aside, you guys, you mentioned, and I think I saw the Dallas Stars and other household names in terms of sports franchises in Texas, but you work very closely with them. Yeah,
so in the last recent years, we've really decided, actually from the partnership that we had locally here with the San Antonio Spurs, that we like being able to partner locally with, community initiatives, and one of those is sports. Everybody is around sports, loves sports. It's a way to bring people together, and we recognize that was something that we wanted to be able to be a part of and to help support from different standpoints. And so the San Antonio Spurs, the Dallas Mavericks, the Houston Rockets, Dallas Stars, and other variety of sports, and then also on a local level for the universities and the colleges. We definitely love to be supportive, of those local schools, but also their athletic programs. So
So much, that just by itself, if you stopped right there, that would be so. Like, do you have Mark Cuban's number in your phone, and like Tillman Fertitta's number, and
we're not quite on that level.
Okay.
I mean, we know the local ownership here in San Antonio, so we'll start there. But
Yeah.
you know, I haven't been able to really spend a lot of time yet with the cubes, lovely as Mark Cuban is known as. But you know, the great thing about Texas and about that ownership that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
They really care about the same values that DOCUmation cares about. And so that's where it's made a lot of sense for us to really partner with these sports teams, because they all have a very familiar, kind of makeup, if you will. But what's funny is that it's become known that you really don't, support, all the teams. You support one team.
Sure.
But we have all of our team members are different markets, so it makes it fun too for all of our team members across all these different cities to get to enjoy the great, parts of those cities, which is the Houston Rockets and the Dallas Mavericks, and and Rice
Spurs,
University, Trinity University here locally, Texas A&M San Antonio, and the list goes on.
Indeed. I think some people might be surprised to know that the DOCUmation origin story, or the family behind it, goes back as far as some of these NBA franchises, if not further.
It does. 65 plus years of a history that we've had for DOCUmation.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing because it's all about family.
Right.
And that's the origins of the story for sure.
So I read, is it Lou Scantland?
That's right.
Was this gentleman in Detroit in the 50s, kind of trying to make his way and dabbling in copying, and back then, if you have to think in the late 50s, to make one copy, like to make this, would be like an act of Congress. I mean, the machine, the antiquated machinery they used back then. And I had read that he was laid off. I think he went through some struggles, and I think he had one of his children was ill or whatever, and for whatever reason they moved to Arizona, and he basically went all in on copies and making copies. And at the risk of telling the whole story, one thing led to another, and here we are with DOCUmation now.
So the really neat thing is, DOCUmation existence goes back 34 years, so we'll be coming around 35 years of existence for DOCUmation. But his story, as you were just mentioning, goes back 65 years. And the really neat thing is he's known as actually the pioneer and the founder, is what we lovingly love to call Lou Scantland, of this industry. And the industry we're talking about is the copy side of things. So he goes back to the old IBM, Xerox days, which really, in some degrees, is kind of the glory days, if you will. But we feel like we're in the new glory days, but in the old glory days of old, that is Lou Scantland era. And so it's really neat that we now are on his shoulders, right? From that standpoint. And so, as you mentioned, from Detroit to Arizona, he's actually the person that founded the cost per copy model in Arizona on a Motorola contract. And so there's things that even live to this day because of his successes.
Like now it's a penny a copy or whatever. But he, when you don't, who thinks about that kind of stuff? But somebody had to have conceived this idea, and it was him. And I read or heard it at the time. It seemed ridiculous, or people thought like,
it's unheard of.
Something like that.
It was unheard of. It was something that nobody else had ever come to, and it was the way that they won that deal at the time. And now it's a standard.
And now it's
in our industry. It's what we operate from for the most part. And so it's really neat to see his transitional in doing those. And like you said, I think the key there is that he stepped out in faith, in trust, had a lot of belief, and took some risk. And if there's anything that we have learned from what we call Papa Lou, it's his ability to take a chance, take a risk on himself, and believe in himself.
And now, is it his children or grandchildren that continue to help run the company?
So it's third generation, and I'm fortunate to be one of the market leaders for here in San Antonio and South Texas, and I am directly reporting up to Preston and Hunter, which are our co-CEOs, and they are our co-bros as well, as what we call them. We have a lot of different names. We try to figure out which one's number one and number two CEO. They're still battling that out. Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Depends on the day. It depends on what I need. If I need some financial help, then I usually, say
get
that Preston's number one.
Okay.
Hunter is number two in those days. But they are third generation of the business.
Yeah.
And that's a really big deal in this day and age because there's a lot of private equity, a lot of venture capital, but they have made the strategic decision that they want to continue to invest into this business that's a family business, and then more importantly into this community,
Right.
broadly, like I shared across Texas.
Which is why it's probably as we speak, this facility is growing because you're taking up a lot of real estate here. But that's a great thing. I mean, that's a great thing.
Yep.
Your origin story, because you're coming up on about 9 years.
9 years.
Here.
Yep.
Did you grow up in San Antonio?
I did not. I'm not. But I feel like San Antonio it's obviously home, but I feel like it fit me like a glove, so to speak.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I was originally in Richardson.
Okay.
And moved up to Frisco, and my family still lives there in Frisco since 1995.
So what brought you to San Antonio?
So a couple things. My wife is actually from San Antonio. We met out in West Texas.
Okay.
And we went to Abilene Christian University out there. And that is actually kind of the connection to here with DOCUmation, because I went to school with both Hunter and Preston in Abilene. But when I graduated, my wife and I got married. We spent about 5 years in the North Dallas area, close to where I was living. And then I started to explore some opportunities down here and got reconnected with Hunter and Preston and made a phone call to him. And I still remember the day I made a phone call to him. It was obviously about 10 years ago or so. And they were on their way back from having lunch. They were on speakerphone back when it was like in the car.
Yes. Talk up here like this a little bit. Cheat up there. Yeah.
And they said, "Are you interested in coming to work for DOCUmation?" I said, "Maybe." They said, "Well, we need to talk." And so the rest has been history from that standpoint. But it's been funny to see, growing up honestly as a Dallas boy,
right,
coming to San Antonio. It's not your typical fairy tale story, if you will.
No, I get it. But you got here as fast as you could. Or it worked out, and you're staying here. You're here for the long haul.
I came down here, this city, which is why I share that it's really fit me like a glove. I felt like it was just open arms, embrace.
Yeah.
And the thing about San Antonio is that if you know San Antonio, you know San Antonio.
Right.
You are a part of this city, whether you want it or not. And I think that's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of people that know each other. But I was easily able to connect with a lot of folks. And I actually spent more of my time initially, and I still do, when I have a real, soft side to the south side of San Antonio.
Okay.
And so that side of town, I'm telling you, is the most authentic, real side of the city. And I would encourage a lot of people, if you love the Alamo, to go see the missions and to go see the culture of the city on the south side. And that's where I actually spent a lot of time. I joined the South Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, very nice.
And that's where I started to get involved from a community perspective.
I was just there the other day with Ray Feo and doing some Fiesta stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, you just forget sometimes, or maybe I just don't get down there enough, but just how great it is, and it's all right here in our backyard and everything. And I mean, it's hard to argue with San Antonio in April. I mean, this is one of my favorite times of the year, and obviously Fiesta starts in 3 days from now.
Yep.
And as you would expect, DOCUmation has a million Fiesta things you guys do probably, but you brought an example of something that you do here that's got a little Fiesta flair to it.
Yes.
I think people will instantly recognize that it's a cellophane bag. There's Topo Chico in here. There's a Fiesta medal in here, by the way, which before I forget, let me trade you. Let me give you one of mine.
Yes, awesome. Thank you.
And there's a little, adult beverage in there. But this is the thing that caught my attention. This is the smallest little Yeti cup I've ever seen in my life. But of course, you guys were able to put the DOCUmation logo right there.
We had to brand it out. It is the size of a shot. So use
with
it wisely.
With a metal straw too. Can you imagine during Fiesta trying to sip your? I might have to
Maybe it's going to encourage people to drink, responsibly. from a very small amount there.
I might have to use this for research purposes during Fiesta and everything. But that's an example, and there's like, to me, there's a cool factor with some of the things that you do. I mean, you walk in the building and you see Duncan and Ginobili and Parker's faces all over the place, and I would imagine with the Spurs and some of these, Whataburgers and these high-profile clients, you must do some really cool things.
We do, and I think the funny thing is we've looked strategically, culturally, what can we do to amplify who we are, right? Again, I kind of shared a little bit of we're sometimes behind the scenes. Yeah. Sometimes you don't really know about us and you need us. And from that standpoint, culture is such a big part of us.
Right.
And we believe it starts in our own team members and internally, right?
Yeah.
And so we do a lot of different Fiesta events internally, but then we also like to do it outwardly. And so we did a tech show, if you will.
I'm going to open this up while you're talking, and I apologize for the noise, but I just think this is so cool.
And so we had a tech show. We had LaGoria, shout out
Chef Johnny.
To Chef Johnny, a local celebrity in town, and we had his LaGoria margarita truck.
All right, I'm not messing around here.
Yeah.
There we go. Because I've got some Fiesta friends who've already chimed in, and I had to open this up. There are people already asking for, people want to trade you medals. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen? I've never in my life seen a shot glass Yeti cup with the straw, no less.
Well, I have to give a shout out to Danielle Diaz and Megan and our customer care support team that put this together. I can't take credit for it at all.
So you had a really good time here the other day. You said, the margarita truck was here and everything. You were passing these out, and you could probably sell these and make a killing right now.
Yeah.
But pretty cool stuff there. So in layman's terms, you're the president of the South Texas, I guess, division or this part of Texas for DOCUmation.
Sure. In
layman's terms, what does that mean? What do you do?
So what my team would tell you is that I walk around and tell people what to do. From my standpoint, it's just a strategic, operational. It's really a general manager for the business, right? Making sure operationally that we're running sales and everything from that standpoint. But every day I'm wondering exactly what it is that God is calling me to do.
You're doing something right.
But we're doing amazing things as a team, and I think from our standpoint, that's really the way I view it, is not as much about me, but really, truly our team. We have a growing, vibrant team that loves people and serves people, and I think that's really the things that, like, my dad has instilled in me.
You got 100+ people here, don't you?
We have over the whole DOCUmation 200, 100 and probably 30 or 40 here.
Wow.
In this location. We have a warehouse. A couple different warehouses around Texas, but we also have a warehouse on the east side of San Antonio as well.
All right. So a couple more minutes here with Robby Brown, the DOCUmation president of South Texas, having a lot of fun here. And I always like to ask if he has something that would be considered like a memento, something of personal meaning or value that might be related in some way, shape, or form to DOCUmation, your career, your life. And he came out with something, and I don't know, I know what it looks like, but it is now time for the show and tell portion of the program here. Well, Robby, so without further ado, what do you have there?
Well, we have this really, really cool, and I guess I'll have to pull it up there to the camera. Okay. You can see inscripted on there.
I haven't seen this yet.
The name, and it says Frank
Sinatra
International. And so this doesn't necessarily have to do 100% with business, but a really cool story is this Lou Scantlin used to be good buddies with Frank Sinatra.
Get out of here.
Which I think is amazing. And he gifted, because of his friendship, one of his briefcases. So this actually sits in our offices because we think this is the coolest thing, because Frank Sinatra, is arguably like one of the most iconic people in the whole world.
Oh, Blue Eyes.
Oh, Blue Eyes. And so this dates back, I don't know the exact time frame, but probably 45 years time frame. So, like, from a business standpoint, this is definitely an heirloom and a kind of a time capsule, if you will. And it's as you can see, it's in gorgeous shape. So,
and if that bag could talk, imagine some of the things it's seen or heard.
Well, I'm a Frank Sinatra fan. My favorite song is Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars.
Robby, I didn't know we were going to do cabaret here. Or,
Well, we're in the car. We're in the car.
It's like
maybe
we're the Rat Pack here now.
Maybe we should, take this show on the road and
We're
do
missing
some
Joey
karaoke.
Bishop and Sammy Davis and Dean Martin, or who are we missing?
We can do. Let's get Eric Cooper back in here too. I saw
From the
he was
food
in
bank.
here from the food bank. He's doing all things Fiesta. So maybe we need to take this show back on the road and do a singing karaoke deal now.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now, you sing? Like, seriously?
I do sing, yes. So I actually sing. I've been singing for a long time, and one of the things I do on a personal standpoint is I'm a worship leader, worship pastor at my church. So
Which one is that?
Crossbridge Community Church.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know that.
but I used to sing Frank Sinatra actually to both my late grandmothers when
They
we
must
were
have
hanging
loved
out. Oh yeah, and so I grew up on the Frank Sinatra era. So this is definitely something that is significant to me and means a lot. Especially, my dad comes from the Italian side of the family, so lots of evenings, very special moments listening to the late great Frank Sinatra for sure.
So you win all of the talent shows that you have here at DOCUmation.
If they have them, it's probably not going to end well for anybody else for sure.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
So you get to sing on a regular basis, and
I try to. I haven't done it as much as I want to, but sometimes I pull the guitar out, and especially during Christmas
you
time.
play guitar now too? Oh, Robby,
And play a little bit of piano.
get out of here!
So, yeah, music is a
Good for you.
beautiful gift, and it's something that God, I believe, it designs to give away. And I think that's something that we should all cherish with music. It's such an art and something to, just share with others.
Man, that is super cool. Very good. All right, couple more minutes. I'll get you out of here on this. Big picture, because like I said, the growth continues. DOCUmation, I mean, people are going to need documents and these kinds of services and things printed, and the Spurs aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So,
No, they're not.
what big picture does DOCUmation still want to do?
Big picture-wise, like what are we looking for the future? I think strategically for us, we obviously want to be involved in the document and printing space, but for us, some of the cool technology that you saw is the interactive whiteboards, which if you
touch it with your finger.
It is exactly that. I characterize it as a large iPad phone.
Yes.
And we have a lot of those in schools, universities, as kids. Nowadays, it's crazy, are growing up.
No more chalk and the erasers that you used to bang together.
A lot of athletic departments are starting to utilize them too. Just something modern, something
you draw
sleek.
plays and
Whether you're the San Antonio Spurs, the Dallas Cowboys, the Trinity, Tigers. There is definitely a need for technology. So we see that we're continually, striving just to see what ways we can enhance any space that we're in. And, believe it or not, we're even enhancing spaces to digitization and helping people, improve process and automation. So it means that they might be printing less in some ways, just to make their businesses more efficient. So,
what can I say?
I think you're at a loss for words.
Well, I'm still thinking
You're
about.
still thinking about Frank
seeing if you're
Sinatra.
going to do I Did It My Way, or you're going to sing anything else for us here. No, it's really. Listen, like I said, the classic example. I've heard of DOCUmation. I've heard of them. They're headquartered in San Antonio, and oh my gosh, they do all these things, and they make little miniature Yeti cups with
Just for
straws
fun.
and stuff. I mean, it is really remarkable. And I think now I will have a greater appreciation when I go to the Spurs game, or you drive by the Rock over here at La Cantera, whatever you see. Somebody had to do all these visual things or make it happen. And like you said, it's not the sexiest job in the world, right? But it's necessary.
We love it, and again, it comes from the core of who we are. Our tagline, one of our tagline, is service that serves. And whether it's technology, whether it's the community, whatever it's that we're doing, and we'll be out there at Fiesta like you shared, but it'll be just the same motto like I shared that my dad has always given me, really from the Navy, which is service unto others, not yourself.
No, I get that.
And so that's just the core of who we are.
I love it. Well, listen, I'm gonna close out with the Fiesta medal here because you alluded to it, and If I can open this little baggie, here we go.
Yes.
Because you've got it, as you would expect, DOCUmation has a medal, and there it is right there. And right on cue, service it serves, as you said. It's a keyboard with the DOCUmation on there. If you'd like more information on anything we've talked about, or if you want to book Robby for a performance, whatever, if you want to, a Frank Sinatra tribute night.
I have sang the national anthem a few times around town. Thank you, Erica Prosper, Nuremberg, the first lady.
of San Antonio.
She had me. She's the sweetest. I came and sang at the HEB Summit for Diversity and Inclusion a year or so ago. So I've been known to sing around town.
But is it always Frank Sinatra?
It's not Frank Sinatra. I haven't done Frank Sinatra yet.
Okay.
So it's been national anthem,
I see.
opening up for conferences. So
Okay.
I would love for anybody to pick me up for a Frank Sinatra after this.
Okay. Well, you might. My wife is asking you to close out with another song. I don't know what else you have in your songbook, but
I'll save it for the next show.
there it is. There it is.
There you go.
A man after my own heart. It's just a tease, but fascinating stuff. And like I said, follow him on LinkedIn or whatever social media platform he's on. You can see all the cool stuff that's happening here. Mation.com. If you'd like to find out, and if you legitimately need, DOCUmation type services. Cool stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ernie. I love pickup lines.
Thank you, brother.
I'm a huge fan, and so just an honor to get to be with you today.
I'm glad we were able to fit this in before Fiesta. And again, you can sell these for $100 a piece right now, and you'd probably get a run on them. This one's mine.
If you can find DOCUmation.
Hey, wait a minute.
Oh no.
If you'd like to brave the traffic on 1604,
yeah, 1604 I-10. If you want to be stuck in traffic for a while.
All right, and what you put in here, you be responsible and
That's
behave.
right. That's right.
Good to see you, man.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you so much.
All
All
right.
right, there you have another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm and Integrity Roofing and Siding. We'll be back here once again, and next time we'll sing Nancy Sinatra. I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? Here on
Love it.
Pickup Lines. Thanks again.
All right.
We'll see you soon. Bye for now.